I'm about to explain X-Men on a scientific level and a prophetic level. So what X-Men is about is the story of Cain and Abel rewritten, but it's also the story of you got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So Malcolm X represents Magneto because Magneto is the magnetism, the electromagnetic waves that flow through the earth. And then Professor X is the teacher with the principles that doesn't have a back spine. So that's where Cain comes in. The spinal cord, the cord that connects you to Jesus, is the 33 backbones inside of your, you know what I'm saying, your vertebrae. So then that's where you get your verbs from, your verb, like, you know what I'm saying, the direction you want to go, and you want to go vert, which is up. So you want to go up and rise. That's like the sun. The sun always rises after the night falls. But basically, what Magneto was, he can control electromagnetic waves, but they only made it seem like he can control metal. But he can move the earth, plates in the ground, he can move different things. Wolverine have vibranium body. He can move the vibrations of Wolverine body, control him, all that. So that's where Malcolm X comes into play. Now, Dr. King would be Professor X because that's the one that stands on principles of what he's taught. But then they come from two different trials. Martin Luther King came from a family that had more money, so he had more of a humble and blessed beginning. But Malcolm X came from a place where his family, you know what I'm saying, his mother was the reason one of it wasn't the reason, but her words got his father, you know what I'm saying, executed. Because when she was over there, you know, telling his father that he had to do something, make change, they took his father's life because it was a whole secret organization of KKK members that worked as like doctors and all this stuff. So when the father ended up missing, you know what I'm saying, they blamed it on him taking his own life, but they took it from him. But because they own so many facilities, they could make it where she didn't get no insurance or anything. And you know what I'm saying? It made her life journey harder because of words. So like she was a pale woman and stuff who didn't like white men, so it already translated in her mind where she passed it down to him. Was getting older where he didn't like him at first, you know what I'm saying? So he was messing with the women and all this other stuff intertwining, but then he finally came to sense when he met Betty, and Betty goddamn convinced him more of what's going on and showed him that, hey, Elijah Muhammad ain't the dude you want to follow either because he got some things that he not doing as honorable as he say he is. And they still be preaching some of the stuff that Muhammad said, Elijah Muhammad said that wasn't the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like Moses, 800 years, all this, that's memory. Moses was in memory for 800 years. He didn't live for no 800 years. People don't live that long. That's why a person that can only live a century can't give you no information because it goes all the way back to myths. They said that a human man can only live 100 years. That was over thousands of years ago before any Bible was wrote. So by people trying to live forever, that is the sin. You can't live forever in this world. You can go at any second. That's the second coming when you actually got to click it in mind that you are already in a vehicle and some of these thoughts got to click. And with Professor X, and like if you think about Dr. Martin Luther King, they was holding people back for like some time because Professor X having mind control over those mutants, he wasn't letting them hit the Omega level, so he was keeping them on the Alpha basis. So he was keeping a lot of mutants under wraps. They wasn't graduating, they wasn't gravitating, they wasn't becoming as powerful as they could become because he was a manipulator who had so many techniques from different teachings that he literally would tell them who they were before they found out who they was. So it's like now you teaching nonviolent and all this other stuff. It's going in the program of all these people. You know what I'm saying? And that is what's supposed to happen by the way of God. But he was teaching something from Gandhi, and Gandhi wasn't even, you know what I'm saying, the person that liked odd folks. So it's like you learning from somebody that was educating us wrong already. I ain't mean to show y'all my sock. Ignore that hoe. But then that's like how we got the holes everywhere, you know what I'm saying, for senses, because it has to be tunnels that goes into connection to the brain. And with the brain, again, you got to unlock the chain. So Magneto is just like somebody that pops all them chains off. So him popping off the chains, he wore a helmet because he didn't want Professor X in his mind. So if you think about how people are manipulators, Why would somebody need a helmet to keep somebody that's supposed to be a hero out of their mind? Because he controls thoughts. Him controlling thoughts, he not letting people think on their own, but he thinking for himself, and then he is spreading his ideas to other people of this is how you should think. You get what I'm saying? So Professor X holds people back because his mind is telling them how they should act. So when his mind tells him how to act, he becomes a dictator over the mutants. He doesn't give them any type of control. And that was an argument in the Bible where they was saying there's no free will given. So then when free will is given to humans, this is where we're seeing we in the era now. This is a free will era where people move off of their motives, but it might not be their motives depending on the people that guided them before time. So when you trace everybody back to like a drop of, you know what I'm saying, inside of a mother that comes out, they can only be taught, they can only be trained, they can only be teach, they can only know what is being told. And then when they break past what's being told, that's when they get a higher learning of different things from different villages, from different people, from different organizations. That everybody is just miscommunication out here, and that's why it's lost in translations, because the communities get broken up from the energy that one community may give. So you can listen to Dr. Umar all day and he be correct, but then because he's only like speaking sometimes on pigment things, it makes it to where nobody's seeing beyond that, and they just seeing, you know what I'm saying, he only gonna work for a certain class, he gonna work for them. And of course we are the most oppressed, but then it's also knowing that the oppressors have to release the restraints by not making them feel oppressed themselves, because the money isn't solving things for them either. They still need to feel the world to know that they have to leave the world in order to find out that they're gonna come back to the world.